Very good morning to you and thanks for joining us on The Breakfast. My name is Nyamgul Agaji. On The Breakfast this morning, we'll be looking at some hot topics. First of all, it will be NPCL Dangote refinery in talks to renew Naira for crude deal. And also, Supreme Court upholds death sentence for farmer in self-defense case. We treated that yesterday. We're going to look at the legal perspective this morning. We also are going to be looking at some top trending issues, and then we will be also looking at what made it to the front pages of some of our national dailies. In the meantime, I'd like to say good morning again and welcome to another wonderful day. Today is the 12th day of March 2025. And we're not going to take any break at this moment. We're just going to go straight to the top trending issues, beginning with IGP reaffirms ban on public parade of suspects. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetekun, has reiterated the ban on the public parade of criminal suspects, aligning with a directive from the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi. This move aims to uphold fundamental human rights and ensure compliance with global best policing practices. First spokesperson Muyiwa Adejobi emphasized that the directive had already been communicated to all police commands as part of modernization efforts. He urged media professionals and the public to respect the policy, ensuring responsible reporting and ethical journalism. The ban aligns with international human rights standards, reinforcing the Nigeria Police Force's commitment to dignity and due process. The IGP assured that the force remains dedicated to a lawful and rights-respecting justice system while seeking public cooperation in maintaining these standards. I'm glad this has come to this point. We've been crying out for this and asking why people will be paraded. What if they are later found not guilty? The damage has been done already. And also the security implication of it. You're telling us who you have arrested that may have accomplices and all that, and you're showing his face to us to see. And then we do not know what will be the outcome of that. We didn't see, some of us didn't see what the real issue was that was making the police to parade these people up and down, as we say in Nigeria. Why not let the investigation go on, and then you take the people to court if you have to, let them be convicted, and you show us their faces? Why would you be exposing somebody who is still considered innocent until proven guilty? But I'm glad that it's late rather than never, and they say it's better late than never. Now that it's been done, I hope that, or now that the policy has come up, I hope that the police themselves will respect that and stop parading people and putting them to shame when they may still be innocent. Okay, so the damage done may never be corrected if the person turns out to be innocent, because he cannot make as much noise as the noise that has been made already when he was paraded there. So we thank the Nigeria Police for listening to the voice of the people, at least some people in Nigeria, and we thank them also for taking the bull by the horns and making sure that this becomes a policy. We're hoping they're going to implement it, and that and many other things that will make Nigeria Police trustworthy, will make Nigeria Police reliable enough, transparent enough for people to be able to trust them. Okay, the Supreme Court has upheld Lucky Aiyedatiwa's election as Ondo State Governor, dismissing an appeal by People's Democratic Party (PDP) candidate Agbola Ajayi. The appellants challenged Aiyedatiwa's victory over alleged discrepancies in his running mate Olaide Adelami's name change, but the Apex Court ruled that properly documented name changes do not constitute electoral fraud. The court concerned with previous rulings from the Federal High Court and Court of Appeal, which dismissed Ajayi's case on procedural grounds. The APC, INEC, and Aiyedatiwa's legal team argued that Ajayi lacked local standing and filed the suit beyond the 14 days legal time frame. The Supreme Court deemed the case statute barred and without merit. In its final ruling, the court upheld Aiyedatiwa's legitimacy, dismissed the appeal, and ordered Ajayi to pay 2 million naira in costs to each of the 4 respondents. Okay, congratulations to the Ondo State Governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa. But in this story, it is not about Aiyedatiwa. I'm just curious. All the time I ask myself, what the rationale is behind what the law holds as sacred. Because if something is brought before the law and you're dismissing it because it was filed late, that's one. Then it's also like in the electoral process, you say that someone who has brought an allegation against somebody, because it's not necessarily a part of the party that fielded that person, that makes no sense to the law. It doesn't make sense to me. So if I come now and the law says the person who is standing for election must not be an epileptic person. I'm just using that as an instance. And the person who finds out that this person is epileptic, even when the party is thinking that is the strongest candidate and feels him and he wins. Someone who brings the matter up and says that he shouldn't have contested in the first place because he's XYZ. Because it's not in that party, he cannot say anything about it. He doesn't have the right. So if someone finds out that someone who is contesting election is a thief, but it does not belong to the same political party, he cannot raise it up. As a Nigerian, even if it's not the opposition, as a Nigerian, he cannot raise that up because he's not a member of that political party. I just do not understand how that works, but maybe that's the law. But I think something should be done about it. The fact that a political party will look for the strongest person in their political party to contest, and they will try their best to hide the baggages that may be attached to this person so that the person just wins that election for them. And the digging up might be done necessarily by someone who doesn't belong to that party. So whatever you find out, whatever debt you find out, that might be in the long run for the good of the people that you're trying to superintend over, to rule over, then that will not hold any water just because you don't belong to that party. I'm just, wondering why that is so strong a thing to do. And then when you file something a little bit late, I'm not saying we should be tardy about it. We should do the needful and sign and send in whatever complaints there should be in the time frame that is given. But what if something really, really strong comes up after that day? You just throw it under the carpet and say because it was filed 14 days, or after 14 days, for instance, you cannot use it because it doesn't hold any water anymore in law. So if he's a serial killer and there's a possibility he's going to kill every member of his cabinet, just because the person who finds out maybe is not a part of the party and maybe he filed it a little bit or complained a little bit late, then you say that, okay, we will not look at this. This will go. He can continue to be what he is. I'm just asking, like a layman who doesn't know how the law operates. But sometimes the law doesn't really make sense to some of us. And we ask ourselves where the law, the place of morality in law, where the law will draw the line and morality will draw the line, and public interest will draw the line, and all that. Who takes what takes what? That's what we're asking now. So maybe some of these things should be revisited, especially if it has to do with things that disqualify a person, an opponent, whether it's an opponent or not, disqualifies someone from standing in an elective position to be elected as maybe a house member or a governor or some other thing that if you are disqualified, no matter who brings it to you, I think it should be respected. You don't expect a family member, because that's how parties are today. They are family members to come and rat him out and tell you that he is this bad, he is that, when they're trying to just win election. Especially in Nigeria, what they do is to win election. They don't care about integrity. They don't care about anything else. They just want to win election, grab power, go to wherever they want to go to. If it is the National Assembly or State Assembly, and whoever is not in their family, as it is, that their party, they will do everything to run that person down so that the person either moves to their party or fails the next election or is being deprived of a lot of things, and the person will be miserable enough to want to do something drastic. So things like this should be looked into. I'm just saying. I'm not saying the law is bad or anything, but for some of us that do not understand how it works, these are some questions we ask ourselves. The House of Representatives has directed the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, to enforce an immediate shutdown of pornographic websites across Nigeria. Lawmakers mandated internet service providers, ISPs, to block access under the new directive, emphasizing the need to protect societal values. The motion, sponsored by Dalhatu Tafuki of Faskari Kankara Sabuwa Federal Constituency, cited pornography's psychological and sociological consequences, as well as its contradiction to Nigeria's religious and moral standards. The House referenced similar bans in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, while stressing that pornography promotes adultery, prostitution, and promiscuity. To ensure compliance, the Committees on Communications and Legislative Compliance will oversee implementation with a 4-week reporting deadline. Speaker Tajuddin Abbas warned that sanctions would be imposed on ISPs that fail to comply. There's only so much you can talk about in this matter and not sound like you are in support of some things, or you are, I don't know, maybe your moral values are eroded and all that. I remember a time where X, I think, was banned in Nigeria. How did that work out? How did it really work out? People went the extra mile to make sure that they were able to still access X. So do you really think that banning it is the solution? How much money will go into making sure those sites are blocked from the Nigerian space? Are there no alternatives that could have been done to make sure that morality is higher nowadays, that children are taught the way to live, what to look out for, who should be their role models and all that? There are so many things that have been allowed in our society, and pornography is just, well, I don't know, but everybody will have their views. But I think that better things, there are more important things to look into and make sure that, what about employment, for instance? If I'm here maybe taking the news, what time will I have to go and be looking at pornography? If I'm trying to produce a program, because I'm gainfully employed, I'm trying to produce a program, I'm trying to get a rundown of some things, I'm trying to research, I'm trying to do a lot of things. What time will I have to go and do the things that I'm not supposed to do? And then if parents can wait till their kids get to a particular age before they hand them an Android phone that can allow them to do a lot of things. These people know how to operate the phone more than their parents even. If I give my child the phone, even if the child is 3, 4, 5 years, there are some things that these children know that I will not even know on that phone, trust me. And you're giving them very early because you want to show people that you can afford it. A small child is having iPhone 16, iPhone whatever it is. A small child is having an Android phone that can do a lot of things. And when you are there in school, you're not there with them. And then you're telling them that you're good. How many parents have been able to even put parental control on their children's phones and it worked for them in Nigeria? I don't know how many. How many lawmakers can swear by Ogun and anything that they believe in that they do not go to these sites that are going to be banned? Well, I'm just saying it. Bottom line is, I think there are more important things to think about. While this is commendable and, you know, it shows that they're thinking about morals, but I think it goes beyond just banning. Every time in Nigeria you see something and you think that is bad, you ban it. You see criminals using tricycle to rob, you say, oh, because of that you're banning tricycles. You see them using some other things to rob, you say, okay, we're banning that. Whether it is good for the community at large or not, you just ban it. You have no solution to anything but just ban. We should stop thinking about just banning. There are two things we do in Nigeria very well. You see that every solution, every problem has only one solution, palliative, which is very wrong, and every other problem that we cannot solve, we think that we cannot solve, we ban. Everything that we see, we just ban. And the things that we need to really, really ban, we're not banning. So think of more things to engage the people that will remove their minds from there. Think of more things to make the children grow with morals that will not allow them even to go into those kind of things. Think of so many other things to engage, especially the youths, so that they don't think about all these things that you're talking about. Pornography. How many movies will you ban even? Because movies nowadays are having all those things. So what are the creative ways that you are going to make sure that people concentrate on other things than pornography? I'm just saying, that's a personal opinion. But you spend your resources, you spend time talking about pornography in the National Assembly. It doesn't even make sense to me. But, you know, let's just applaud the National Assembly that, okay, they are thinking about morals. But how are those morals in the schools? How are those morals in our society at large? How are those morals cultivated in the people? You just get to the end where they have reached a point where they are addicted to a particular thing, and then you ban that thing. What process led them to that? You're not thinking about it. It's just ban when you cannot have a solution to it. Well, we'll take the final top trending issue. Kebbi State government has confirmed 26 deaths following a suspected outbreak of cerebrospinal meningitis in Aliero, Gwandu, and Jega local government area. Commissioner for Health Alhaji Musa Ismaila revealed that 248 suspected cases had been recorded, with 11 samples sent to the National Reference Laboratory, Abuja, for confirmation. While 2 results tested negative, 9 samples are still pending. In response, the state government has released 30 million naira for emergency intervention, including the procurement of drugs and consumables. Advocacy efforts in collaboration with the World Health Organization, Medicine Sans Frontières, that is Medicine Beyond Borders, and UNICEF have been initiated, while isolation centers have been established in the affected areas. Ismaila urged the public to remain vigilant, follow health guidelines, and promptly report suspected cases to the nearest health facility. I remember some time ago when we had this meningitis, back in the village, and it took the town criers to tell us what the problem was, how we should look out for this, and what we should do to prevent this. I don't know. In all the villages, they still have something called town criers. They still have an avenue where they pass information. I don't know how much our health personnel and our National Orientation Agency and whoever is involved, maybe Ministry of Information, whoever is involved, I don't know how much they are doing to keep the people aware of what is happening and the dangers of it and the preventive measures. Right now in this report, we saw that the Commissioner for Health had called on the people to do X, Y, Z and look out for this disease. I don't know how much above and beyond he went to make sure that everybody heard this story. Everybody knew about this outbreak. We've heard about Lassa fever that is killing people, even people who are coming from overseas to establish in Nigeria to save lives and do others. A doctor came from UK and died of Lassa fever. We're talking meningitis, we talk malaria, we talk all other things, but the awareness is not as much as I as a person would like it. So we should sit up and we should not wait for a global ailment like Ebola or COVID-19 or any other one that will be affecting other countries, that will make the World Health Organization, United Nations, and everybody to give us money. We should be thinking about preventing deaths among our population. So how much are the people hearing? How much engagement has been done with the people in the villages and everywhere else? There are villages you go to, they have not seen electricity for a long time, and they don't care anymore because they're now used to it. They just wake up, go to their farms, come back, and all they think about is how they can make their farms better, how they can eat, how they can send their children to school. They don't think about listening to radio or watching television. So how do they get to know these things that you're saying? You're calling on the people to be careful, to be mindful, to be doing this. How will they hear? How much engagement are you engaging with the rural populace and the people who may not be, even in a place like Lagos, there are people who may not have access to television. So what are you doing? Will we keep dying? Nigerians in the first place don't like to go to a hospital to see, unless it has come to a very, very serious case where you are carried to the hospital. In most cases, it's when it is too late. So what are you doing about that? We shouldn't keep losing people just because the relevant authorities are not doing the right things. You might argue that people should know that their health is paramount and all that. Well, some people don't. Some people don't even care until you tell them how important it is. Some people don't know anything about their bodies. They just see something, they chew some leaves and all that. They drink what in Lagos is called agbo, and everything moves on. Whether it is cancer or not, people are drinking agbo for cancer. And you might think in 2025 it will not happen, but it's happening. So how much are you educating the people? It's a worrisome thing to be losing people all the time. But we pray for the repose of the souls of those who have gone, and we pray for enlightenment on the populace or among the people, so that we will lose less people, if none at all. Well, that's the much we can take on the top trending issues. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll be looking at the papers and seeing what the headlines are this morning. Stay with us.